IMF and Pakistan have been embroiled in negotiations for the ninth review in what seems to be forever. Their topic is the background of every economic and political development in Pakistan. So let's try and figure out how long have we been waiting for an agreement. The initial agreement was signed in 2019 between the government of Pakistan and the IMF. The agreement lasted from 2019 up till 2022, at which point the agreement was suspended when the government of Pakistan provided a tax amnesty scheme and an energy subsidy while the price of energy skyrocketed around the world due to the Ukraine war. What followed then was political development when the parliament held a vote of no confidence against the prime minister and a new government was formed. The finance minister of the new government then flew to the US to try and re-enter or recharge the IMF agreement, and there was hope that by August 2022, a new agreement would be signed. This came to fruit when the 8th, 7th, and 8th reviews for the tranche were released. But due to the deteriorating exchange rate and high inflation, the finance minister was forced to make way for Ishaq Dar. The incoming finance minister came with a very bullish sentiment and stated that the exchange rate would be dropped down to below 200. That Mifta Ismail, the former FM, should not worry about the IMF, and Pakistan is not reliant on IMF at all. So ever since he's come in, we've been talking about the ninth review. So let's just take a look at the timeline of the main developments and how long have we been waiting for the negotiation to finish. Ishaq Dar was sworn in as FM on 27th of September. 3 days later, energy prices were reduced for the country against wishes of the IMF and its agreement. Mid-October, Pakistan and IMF announced that they'll be meeting in November. And on 16th October, the Ishaq Dar attended annual conferences for IMF and World Bank in New York. There were positive vibes from that specific trip, but by mid-November, the meeting between IMF and Pakistan had been delayed multiple times. On 7th December, it was reported that Pakistan was collaborating with the UK, US, and China to assist the resumption of the IMF program. A week later, IMF stated that discussion on the program was fruitful between the two parties, and a week after that, the Prime Minister of the country stated that Pakistan is willing to fulfill all the requirements of the agreement with the IMF. The IMF visited Pakistan finally between 31st January 9th Feb, but left without signing an agreement. An MEFP was shared between the two parties, but no staff level agreement was signed. A full month later, still no staff agreement, and Ishaq Dar then announced that the SLA was imminent. Then you have another month of silence when you get positive news in the form of pledges by Saudi Arabia, China, and UAE to meet Pakistan's external financing commitments. And still a month later, no progress has been made. And then in early May, Moody publishes a report which states that Pakistan made default without the tranche. So at this point, we're 8 months into negotiations with no imminent agreement pending our way. With the budget that's coming up, that's going to be due in sometime mid-June, the IMF is likely going to look at expenditure cut policies and tax revenue targets for the government before committing to releasing the ninth tranche. It is unlikely that we're going to have SLA signed before early July, at which point it will be 10 months since negotiations start on the ninth review. So it's probably going to be a long time before we have any agreement here.